later, 30 million albums sold. They've proved classical pop is as popular as ever. We're going to speak to them next about honouring their late bandmate and welcoming their newest member on tour. A fan who bought their first album aged 14. And we've been talking energy bills all morning. Martin's going to be answering your questions after 8. Please get... Il Divo are celebrating 2 decades since Simon Cowell first got them together, and they've sold an incredible 30 million albums worldwide. But back in 2021, the band suffered the tragic loss of one of their members, Carlos Marín.
But after the heartbreak, they are determined to see his legacy live on through a new voice with new singer Stephen Labrie, and they've announced a brand new tour and album. But before we talk about that, let's just remind ourselves of some of the greatest hits so far.
Feel uplifted? Well, Il Divo join us now.
And for those of you who aren't certain, those 4 are Il Divo. I'm the money guy.
I know, but you could easily join the lineup, Martin. Look, you have just joined the lineup, haven't you? I mean, most recently, out of all 4 of you, Stephen. But you bought an album when you were just a young teenager, Il Divo. Years later, 20 years later, you're part of the group. Was that always the ambition as you listened?
You know, I mean, I don't think there's any way to ever predict anything in life. But it's a really interesting full circle moment because, you know, I was in a Barnes & Noble where I grew up in Texas, and I saw Il Divo's album on the shelf, and I was like, oh, and I'd heard about them because it was around the time of Simon Cowell and American Idol. So I put on the headphones and I listened, and I was like, oh, this is great. And, you know, I'd met David a few years later, and then we did a CD release party in a Barnes & Noble in New York City, and there was our album and our what's the big one?
Vinyl.
The vinyl.
Yeah.
That's the age difference, right?
That's right, yeah. You were one of those people looking at the typewriter going, what on earth is that?
I said to her, I've never used one of those before.
And I said, and I had classes at school.
We're lucky he didn't say he bought a tape.
Yeah, that's right. But
Is it the Simon Cowell thing? Are you still managed by Simon Cowell now?
No, not at all. Actually, years and years ago. How long it's been since
2015?
Yeah.
Yes, we
Yeah.
decided just to do our own things, and Simon was so, you know, he was really encouraging the 4 of us, sorry, just to carry on and do our own thing. We just felt like we wanted to produce and do our own record, and it was like, makes sense.
yeah, and you're just going on to greater and greater things. David, we can't ignore the fact that, of course, you have lost such an important member. And I know that you're out on tour and obviously you're here now. You must remember Carlos so much and want to honour him and his legacy, his memory. It must have been such a painful moment.
It was a terribly painful moment. And we actually thought, the 3 of us thought, this was going to be the end of the band.
Right.
Because the music really just, it's wrapped around and revolves around that deeper baritone voice. And the 3 of us being kind of higher-voiced tenor range, it just the balance of the sound, we thought, well, could we try and do this just ourselves? We would have had to rearrange all the songs, create, you know, an entirely new situation for us to reshare all the songs. Fortunately, as Stephen mentioned, he and I had done some concert work together, and so when this all happened, I reached out to him and I said, would you be interested to help us create a memorial tour for Carlos? And he said yes, and we just kind of got to work trying to, like, fit him into the songs with us, and we basically spent an entire year going around the world honoring Carlos. And then as we, kind of hit that 1 year mark of mourning, we moved into a tour called the New Day Tour. And after that, it was like, this really works and this really fits. And he's such a great guy and we get on very well and our voices work together. So we asked him to be a permanent member and here he is.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And then we did the album.
And you're doing a tour coming up. I was interested to note that you've launched your own app to stop your fans being scammed on ticket sales, which is becoming an issue in the industry. Now, we were just talking off camera. Yeah. I'm the most scammed face in the country. You're the most scammed band member. We are the
something
scam
common
ones.
together.
Yeah.
Sebastian, what is it about you that means you're the most scammed?
I don't know. Maybe I have a scammer face or something. I don't know, but it's horrible. I
think
hear
it's
like
they trust you more than the others, which I think will be the reason why. That's
probably
what I'm
true.
saying.
You know,
I
I like the way you think about that.
So tell us about what this app does to prevent scams.
Well, actually, we just wanted to contain informations because people just have third parties selling tickets or meet and greets or even giving my phone number or someone's phone number, and none of that is true. So we wanted to contain that into an app, and you can buy like all the tickets, the new record, the Double X album, which celebrates 20 years as a band, merchandising, all the infos are there. And
So in many ways, it's a legitimacy checker. If it's on there, you know it's legit, and you can't necessarily trust other sources on the internet, which is a problem that spreads across the web.
yes.
And we also have control over the app. So if someone does come on trying to impersonate one of us, obviously we can just, we don't have that control with social media. And, we can flag people on social media, but they just create another username, blah, blah, blah. You know it's us. You know it's the information. You know it's trustworthy.
It's going to get tougher. So let's, as much as we try to contain, something else will happen.
But
And now
also-
it can't be it's out of our control somehow.
There's also a closeness because we have these channels where we can each speak with the fans, we can post pictures, and so it's bringing the separation of this digital world kind of together, which is nice. And all of our tour dates are on there, so people can go there to see where we're going, because oftentimes we go to places and people say, oh, I didn't know you were going. Well, the algorithms of Facebook and Instagram and all of these applications, they don't allow for everyone to see it, but everyone who is on the app will see everything that's on there.
Because what I'm interested in is how into it you are yourselves.
Of course.
Because we weren't planning to have that, but you're all aware of it. And we've had some stories recently where bands are not necessarily in control of their own concert schedules and what's going on and the pricing structures going on there. But it sounds like
You've got a particular band in
well,
mind.
there may be a band that has some issues going. I'm interested. So you're no longer with the Psycho management company, so you take control of your own affairs these days by the sound of it.
As much as we can, because there is obviously still stuff that agencies, managements and so have to do, but we notice that the more we actually demand to be consulted on every decision, that is much healthier for our band.
If you were to be consulted on a major star to collaborate with us, who would it be? Who would you most
Thank
like
you very much.
Yeah.
Well done.
Stephen.
Martin.
Bravo, you're hired. Good morning.
Well, we've got a gig coming up in London. Are you free?
Do you have a tuxedo?
No, I never wear a tie, so I can't do it.
Me either.
Carlos never would.
Okay,
Carlos never did. And I like checkered suits, actually.
I'm doing very well today. You take it over. I'm enjoying myself.
It's great to see you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Cheers,
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Right, still to come.